Welcome. My name is Carol Bideau, and I am the producer of Mona Lisa. And I have here James Farwell, the prolific writer of Mona Lisa. So, James, tell us more about you.
Well, as I keep saying, Carol, my number one goal is to stay off the streets and out of jail. And I think the first questions that anybody in the movie business has to ask is, number one, can we do it? And number two, can we stay out of jail? Because that's the way the movie business works. And you do a good job of keeping us on the straight and true.
One of the real, if the audience has seen our other podcast on National Lampoon's Counterintelligence, you'll see that James has a varied ideas and projects, and Mona Lisa is very different. But what I think Mona Lisa does, it gets back to you have a big English UK background. It's part of your history. You went to Cambridge, so tell us a little bit more about Mona Lisa and how that all evolved. And
of course, like most writers, one wants to write what one wants to see. And so I wrote a movie that I thought would be fun for me to see and fun for everybody else to do. So it's a sophisticated, never mind the phone, it's a sophisticated action comedy romance set in England for the most part, partly in Italy or around the Lake Country, with a very strong female lead. A lot of my writing, for whatever reason, the strongest characters are also female characters. They're all very strong people. They're rooted in very strong values of integrity and achievement and discipline. They all have a great sense of humor. They're all stylish people, but they're not implausible people. They're very real people, and that's, I think, because they're rooted in values as opposed to rooted into a Hollywood writer's concept of what a heroine should look like. They have their share of strengths. They're not perfect, but they're always empathetic and they're always interesting. What they do is interesting. Their conversation is interesting and funny and witty, and they're physical as well as intellectual. And that's true in the case of Mona Lisa. The other thing about Mona Lisa that I think is fun, and I think this is important in an action comedy, the Russian president, who has a copy of the Mona Lisa in the Hermitage, decides that he wants an original Mona Lisa from the hand of Leonardo da Vinci and deputizes an oligarch in London to go get him one. And that's what sets the action in motion. It's probably worth pointing out the different ways that one might view a painting by da Vinci. There are what we would call original Da Vinci's that are authenticated. That is, it's clear that it came from the hand of Da Vinci. That is true of the Da Vinci in the Louvre. Lots of experts, especially those from the University of Padua, would argue the Ilsworth Mona Lisa, which is painted with the same subject but 10 years earlier than the one that's in the Louvre, is authenticated to him. The Louvre has just authenticated a charcoal drawing. If you can't be absolutely certain, instead of being authenticated, art experts will attribute a painting to somebody. In the case of the Mona Lisa, there are also paintings that were done by his assistants. They came from his studios. Technically, you would consider them to be a copy, but it's interesting because the Mona Lisa took a long time to paint. And so he had assistants in the studio that would follow along with him and could copy what he was doing. The Prado and the Hermitage, I think, have copies of the Mona Lisa that would fit into that category. They're copies, but nobody's making any bones about it. Joshua Reynolds had one that for years, and even centuries, people thought was a genuine Mona Lisa by Da Vinci. Carbon dating showed that it was really done in 1607. There are at least one or two other people in London that claim that they have originals that are authenticated, that should be authenticated to Da Vinci. What you're really looking for in authenticating things is the face and the hands. The assistants in the studio might paint other parts of a painting, but only the great master would do the arms and the hands and the faces. And in this particular case, part of the fun is that a version of the Mona Lisa that may very well be from Da Vinci and may be stolen World War II art comes up for auction. And that's what sets all of the action in train.
Right. And so there's also, there's the ones that are attributed, and then there's also out and out forgeries. And then there's also these glissés. And so I think that what was very exciting about Mona Lisa that you've written is that we talk about this world, and I think that a lot of us don't really understand this art world. We're really not part of it. And I think that what Mona Lisa is, it takes us on a very wild ride through this art world. And it's very, very exciting.
And you know, one of the interesting things about the Mona Lisa in the Louvre is if you said, oh, so the Russian president wants to have a Mona Lisa, what does he think we're going to do? Steal it from the Louvre? Like, you've got to be kidding. Well, guess what? The Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre some years ago. They managed to recover it. But the idea that you can't steal one of these things is a bit of a non-starter. Look at the museum in Boston, the Isabella Gardner Museum, where some of Vermeer and other paintings were done. It's always shocking when these heists are taken off. I don't think you could steal the Mona Lisa from the Louvre today. But who knows what the security is for the Ilsworth Mona Lisa. A lot of precious artworks that you would think were very secure turn out not to be. Although in this case, the search is on for another painting from the hand of Da Vinci. And we believe, and the story will vindicate this, that there is another one. And that's what makes this fun. What makes the thing interesting is that you're not creating an alternative universe in which this is not possible. The answer is it's entirely plausible that you could come up with another Mona Lisa. I mean, who would have thought that just in the last year, one that the Louvre itself, which is not interested in authenticating new Mona Lisas, authenticated a chalk drawing of one. Paintings that you don't expect to exist too. A new Da Vinci was, as you know, in the last couple of years, discovered. Its provenance, not its provenance, but its authenticity is disputed. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia apparently owns it, and it's sold for $400 million at auction. These paintings that you would think don't exist turn up every now and then. And so that's one of the things that makes this interesting.
Right. And I think that it's also the relationships that you create in these heists, because I think that that's, you know, a quality that you bring to the page is that those relationships between this FBI agent and the Scotland Yard, you know, person that that is going to be part of this whole movie. So, you know, when you're creating this film and script, really, what do you want the audience to walk away with? Obviously, they're going to walk away with a big smile because they've just had a lot of fun. And I think that that's a characteristic of a lot of your movies. People just are going to have fun. And but is there a theme or a thought, or just, you know, what would you like the audience to walk away with once they've seen the movie?
Well, in Mona Lisa, part of the theme of this is self-realization. The agent who works in the Scotland Yard's antiques and artworks section is looking for something that really gives meaning to her life. And it's not enough just to chase criminals and put them in jail. She wants to do something that really makes a difference. And in this case, she's on the trail of not just a Mona Lisa that might have come from Da Vinci, but indeed was stolen from a Jewish family during World War II. And so there is a sense of justice that makes this work larger. We all want to feel that we're part of something that's larger than ourselves, larger than our day-to-day work. And that's a theme that runs through this, the importance of identifying with a cause that is larger than that. They say that in life, and I really believe that you need several things to really make a life work. You need someone to love, something to believe in, something to hope for, and something to do. And these form the core of the character of the leads in this movie. At the same time, the relationship and the rapport between all of these characters is a lot of fun. Even the Strauskopf, who is the Russian oligarch, really is an awful lot of fun. You almost feel sorry for him because on the one hand, the president of Russia, Titov, has allowed him to keep his money and go to London and lead this great life, and now he's given him an impossible assignment. And there's a sword hanging over his head because not fulfilling the wishes of the president of Russia can be very dangerous, and he doesn't like that very much. And the poor guy, I mean, he has all these great, clever schemes, and life, as they say, is what happens to you while you're making other plans. But that's true as well for the other characters, and it's what makes it fun.
That's great. No, I definitely feel that when you're reading the script, it's really a feeling of just laugh out loud and just seeing people, that you can identify, like Nicole, the American, and just like this feeling of wanting to help to put, art isn't just something on the wall for a lot of people. It's part of their family history. And I really feel that that love for art really comes across in Mona Lisa. And it's a big part of what I think audiences really will relate to, because most people have a passion. And even if it's playing tennis or collecting marbles, I mean, it's really, people have something, they need something that fulfills them. And in this case, she's going to put together the history of a family, and I think that really was very exciting for me to sort of
Right.
learn in your script.
The theme of identity lies really at the root of this. This painting that they're looking for, if they wonder if it exists and who's got it, where, is a foundation for the identity of the family for whom Nicole is looking for a painting. But it also provides her with a point of view and a pivot from which to operate that gives new meaning to her life. But in turn, she influences the points of view of those that she comes into contact with. There's a wonderful character from Italy, Sofia Maggioni, who is a lot of fun. Again, very smart, a very brilliant tech billionaire. All the women in my films are always smart people that do things. And I think that's part of what makes it fun. We love watching smart people doing smart things. This is a smart movie. And that's different from so many of the things that you've seen. Too many action movies today are just one car scene and one exercise and beating somebody up or shooting somebody after another. The interest in this is in the characters first and foremost, and the action is about intrigue much more than it is running around shooting people and blowing anybody up. And I think that makes it fun. And I think that the wit, again, plays to the intellect of people. I believe in playing up to an audience, not playing down to them.
Well, I think that although James, in a certain way, you're very, very intellectual. You're a man that is that writes. You're a prolific writer in your own right, in your military work. But I feel that when you do your screenplays, you bring that intellectual, but it's very emotional because people can really relate to your characters. And that's what really is exciting for me as a producer, is to be able to find that blend, because it just, that basal humor just doesn't cut it. And having something so intellectual that nobody can understand also doesn't cut it. And I think that you're one of your gifts is to bring both to the page.
Well, in this film, the characters clearly care about each other as well as what they're doing, and therefore we are able to identify with and care about them. There is a sense of empathy that they have for what's going on around them, and I think that that's something that's missing in this world that we need more of.
Yeah, and I'm also very grateful. It's the same team that is bringing you National Lampoon Counterintelligence. Jerry Daigle, Shandu Shah, and Frank Hart are involved in the Mona Lisa. So it's a great team to be working with, and as a woman, and the lead producer, it's really, I mean, it's really a wonderful team to work with, because I really feel that you know, we're all heard, and we all are very collaborative, and we work together a lot. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to see Mona Lisa, and we're bringing this European production together, and it's I can't wait to get into the, you know, to the production of the film. So thank you, James,
Thank you.
for you know, sitting for this podcast, and I can't wait till the next phase.
Well, thanks. This has been a great team effort, and it really does bear stressing that all the performing arts is a team effort with a lot of people contributing in a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the reasons that the project is as much fun as it is to work on, and why I think it will be, why it will find a receptive audience that wants to see it and enjoys it, and is glad that it took the 2 hours to watch it. So thanks very much.
And for any of you that would like to follow us on social media, please follow us at hashtag Mona Lisa Movie. And you can also follow us on our webpage, which is MediaFusion.com/Mona Lisa. Thank you all, and see you at the movies.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.